All right, here we are in Chapter 5 for our RO faucet install and our whole cap cover install. We're very inventive here. We want to show you every possible way to install the Chanson M.A.X. At this point, I also want to let you know that there are two mounting holes in the back of the M.A.X, and you can see them right here. So if you want to hang them on the side of a cabinet, or you want to hang it on a backsplash on the back of a wall, it's very easy to hang. Alright, so we just finished our G2 faucet installation method, but some people don't like the G2 faucet. They don't like the visibility of hoses, or they don't like the look of it. If that's the case, we have yet another installation method for you, and this is a basic, what's called a reverse osmosis faucet. And this is one of the few that will work for this method because it actually has a cap that holds the upper faucet head on, which means this whole line can be under pressure and not come apart like almost all other RO faucets. This installation method is super easy as well. You only need that 5/8 inch hole on top of the sink or faucet, or if you have a full-size standard faucet hole, which is around 1 3/8 inches, we have an adapter that comes with this faucet that just simply slips right under it, and then it feeds in and covers the larger size hole. Once this is in, you'll have a nut and a washer that goes on from underneath to secure this down. There's also 3 other small parts that come with this kit. You have a compression nut, which is a silver nut. You have an insert for the end of the tube, and you have a plastic collet. And I'll show you how these work. You take the tubing and put the nut on first with the threaded side facing upwards. The second piece will be the plastic collet, and it will slip right over the tube as well. And then the last piece will be the insert for the end of the tube. Now picture this. This is already installed from the bottom with the nut already tightened up here, so the faucet is installed and in place either into the countertop or the sink. Then you're going to take the tube and press it inside the bottom of this, slip the nut and the collet up, and remember, you'll be laying on your back reaching up inside the sink doing this. Tighten it as far as you can go by hand, and then take a pliers and tighten it 3 or 4 more turns until you feel it very snug. Now the other end of this line can go directly to a pre-filter like the Chanson Ultra filter or the Chanson Nano filter, or it could be coming directly via a diverter directly from your cold water line, and we'll show you that method when we're detailing the filter installations a little bit later. So once this is in place, you can have water directly from your cold tap going to the ionizer, or you can have pre-filtered water. So I'm going to pull this off for the remainder of the demonstration here, and I'll show you how we'd actually connect this into the ionizer. So this will be mounted in your hole, and we'll just remove this extra ring here because our hole is very small. There will be a quick connect union connector that will come with that faucet, and quick connect is the most wonderful plumbing connections there are. You just simply take it, push it over the end of the tube as hard as you can till it bottoms out. We'll find our water inlet that's feeding the water into the ionizer, and we'll plug it into the other end of this tube, this connector here. And then the acid drain line will go into its suction cup and be attached to the side of the sink. Now, I'm not trimming and cutting these tubes as I would for a permanent installation, but if you have too much tubing, then go ahead and cut the tube as short as you need. And remember, the faucet is not going to look all funky and knocked over like this. This is just our demonstration area. It'll be nice and tight installed in here. You'll have your choice to have the faucet facing forward with the tube visibly going back, or you can twist the tube to where it's actually sitting behind the ionizer on your countertop. And you'll have this wonderful sleek look here, and you'll also have the ability to turn pressure on and off of the ionizer. So it's a little bit neater of a look than the G2. You do have a hose coming out here that's suctioned into your sink versus the acid spout with the G2 faucet, but this is a much less expensive option and quicker way to hook up the ionizer if you don't want to have any hoses going to your main faucet. And again, if you're using the ionizer armor, the armor can be simply connected to this tubing that's coming right off of the RO faucet. Now, we're just going to roll right along into the next option. The next option is what I call, and I invented this, by the way, so if you see it anywhere else, you know it was stolen from us. This is my invention. This is called a faucet hole cover installation. You can find these faucet hole covers at Home Depot, at Lowe's, at almost any home building supply store or plumbing supply store. And basically what they're designed to do is they're designed to fill a hole in a faucet that's not being used. Maybe there was a soap pump there. Maybe it's designed for an additional faucet, like a filtration faucet to go at some point. When you get these, they're very cheap. They're about 10 or 11 bucks at your local home store. They have them in many different finishes. They come in chrome, brushed nickel, oil rub bronze. They come in white. They come in black. You'll notice that the inside of the shaft is hollow. So what we do is we take a 1/4 inch drill bit and drill a hole right in the center of the top cap. Then we take our 1/4 inch tubing and feed it into that hole. And again, we want to drill it no bigger than the tube size, and part of the reasoning is it'll be more waterproof. It'll be much harder for water to enter this hole if you drill it at exactly the right length or the right size. So again, you'll see that there's a nut on the bottom of this, so it'll just insert into the hole. This is a standard faucet size hole, which would be 1 3/8 inches. You'll bolt this nut on from underneath the sink to keep the cap down nice and tight. And when you order one of these, actually we're going to make this available, so if this is the method that you want, all these parts are not going to be included in your kit because this is a method that very few people choose. But if you want to use this method, call us up, tell us you want the hole cover installation method, and we'll send you one of these. Or you can go to your local home store and buy one. Like I said, they're about $8. Once this is in place, you only need about 1 inch of tubing sticking up, and you'll take a quick connect 90-degree fitting, which we will supply you. It will not be included with your kit. This is something additional that we have to send to you if you choose this installation method. And so my hole on the faucet is not big enough, so I'm just going to do a mock-up here. This would be sitting flat and flush onto your sink, so nothing would be sticking up, and the only thing going to here would be your water inlet, which will plug directly into here and tuck behind the ionizer. And so this is the only thing you would see sticking out of your sink. A very nice, clean installation. Doesn't require an additional faucet. And of course, what I always love is, because you are getting your water from under the sink now, it's very easy to hook up a pre-filter like the Nano filter or the Chanson Ultra filter or the Chanson C3 filter. It's also very easy on this line coming out to hook up your ionizer armor right behind the sink. So that concludes the faucet hole cover installation method. All right, well, there's one more installation method that we didn't go over, and actually this is the simplest, easiest method if you choose to do it this way. You'll see the size of the tube that feeds water to the ionizer. It's actually very small. It's a 1/4 inch thick, 1/4 inch. Now, if you're living permanently in your home, it doesn't matter whether you have a tile countertop, a granite countertop, a stainless steel, a wood countertop. It doesn't matter what you have. You can drill a 1/4 inch hole directly below where the ionizer sits and feed up your 1/4 inch line directly from your pre-filter, your nano filter, your ultra filter, your C3, or directly from your cold water supply, direct through the countertop right to the ionizer. You'll leave enough extra tube slacking, so if you ever need to get to the bottom of your ionizer, you can just tilt it backwards and see the tube coming straight out. Now, some of you might say, oh my gosh, drill a hole in my beautiful $15,000 granite slab? Well, I can tell you, the 1/4 inch hole can easily be filled with a color matching grout, cement, or caulk that will be almost unnoticeable if you ever decide to move or leave your home. But the direct connect method is another option. It avoids having to use any type of accessory faucets. It avoids having any hoses or anything hooked up to your sink. And it makes the install method super easy and leaves only the tiniest of holes that, even if you're a renter, can be caulked, plugged, or filled after you move out. So that's the neatest, cleanest installation method. Of course, if you don't want to see any of those things, you might opt for a true under-sink water ionizer, which is called our VS70. But for this, that is the cleanest, simplest installation method. Thanks for joining us.